Get ready to read. The all-new Ford 2021 Toxic Masculinity is 5,000 pounds of raw, untamed power. Whether it's climbing the steepest hill or running down an escaped criminal. And ladies, engage the all-new Karen Drive and let your inner bitch scream. The all-new 2021 Ford Toxic Masculinity with Karen Drive. Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, have you? Glue. Glue comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes. For centuries, it's had 1,000,001 uses. Unless you're an idiot who decides to glue his lips or other body parts together.
I glued my balls to my butthole again.
Whoa, that's a sticky situation.
Oh my god, what did I do?
And now, that'll have to be amputated. Now you have no lips or balls, and you'll have to drink through a straw or sit down to pee. Too bad. So remember, glue it, don't abuse it. This has been a public service announcement paid for by the committee to stop people from gluing their lips or other body parts together. Glue is not for use by actual gorillas or chimpanzees. And humans, don't put it in your f***ing hair.
Hey, wait a minute!
Monarch Radio now has a list of cancellations, delays, and closures. The U.S. State Department has declared Antarctica a no-go zone due to the recent Godzilla attacks. Tourists are advised to refrain from traveling to the continent. The penguin enclosure is now closed at the Antarctic Zoo, as is the elephant seal petting zoo. Friedtorf Nansen Junior High is closed for today, as are grades K through 4 and PS 158. Research Station Hawley, Concordia, and Outpost 31 are completely destroyed and closed for the day. So all you scientists out there, enjoy your day off. Tonight's hockey game between Science Station Maldonado and Science Station Palmer has been postponed due to a giant footprint-sized hole in the arena. And finally, traffic is backed up on the ice shelf. Expect a 1-hour delay. If you're trying to get to work, plan accordingly. We'll have more updates every hour on the hour. For the latest news and traffic, keep it right here at Monarch Radio.
And I need you both to know I'll carry it everywhere I go.
Whoa, I think I just figured something out, Beavis. This sucks.
Yeah, me.
Sheer fucking hubris.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
The blast shield is the blast shield. It comes down and it goes up. Blast shield!
And you suck.
Coming soon to HGTV, the reality show that's faster than a speeding bullet. Will America's sweethearts Lois Lane and Clark Kent meet their deadline and flip their house in time? We'll find out in Flip This Dump, Fortress of Solitude Edition, coming to HGTV.
How much better would Superman and the Justice League be with if it were a reality show where they flip houses? Where's my camera? Where's my camera? How did I lose my camera this early? The first thing in the show, I don't have my camera. Hello, everyone. Where is you? Where are you? Where are you? Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. Morgan Fury, Eric Schultz. Hello. Yeah, there's a typo in the thumbnail. I don't care. I'm not going to worry about it. They don't care. Star Trek doesn't care. I mean, they don't care. Hello. 25% different or else the suits come a-knocking. Yes. Fresh Ezra Miller news today. Oh, what did he do this time? The last time I did an Ezra Miller video, it got demonetized. It's like, oh, well, we work for super chats only anyway on this show, apparently. So if there's any rich Star Trek production assistants, designer people out there who can't handle my opinion, I'm sorry. First off, I'm sorry. Second off, I gotta articulate a little bit more about what's going on with the Star Trek stuff. So, you know me, I wake up, I look at my stupid Twitter to see what's going on for the day. Before I'm like fully awake, I see dumb. I see politics ball, because I'm trying to kind of be a little bit more informed when I have my opinions on Star Trek, because as you guys know, I'm not a politics person. So the problem with Star Trek though is they aren't either. These people don't know what the crap they're talking about. They know reference, member berry. We're gonna get into that. We're totally gonna get into that. Barry on 2, my spelling has gotten so much worse. Right, mine too. I can't even write anymore with my hands anymore. Like, I'm so used to typing. I'm like, how do I hold a pen? Is this how you hold a pen? Does holding a pen work like, actually working like this actually seems to be a little easier for me. I started holding pen like this. So hello PCAT, hello Andrew Helm. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So I'm looking through Twitter. And we got this news yesterday. I gotta get right into it. I don't know if I'll leave this up or clip it, but I'm gonna record it for posterity. I don't have an intro. Why don't I have an intro? What did I have as the intro, Rob? Oh, never. I got it. Star Trek Picard's political activism is no deeper than a member berry reference to activism. I am Mecha. Bookmark this channel. YouTube will suppress the crappity crap out of it. What is that? Is that wind? Wow. We're getting like whoosh. The cat ran to the door. I saw him. I'm like, what is that? And then the cat ran. Ooh. I think it just saw the Wicked Witch go by. Is it a Twister, Andy M? Oh no. Oh no! Call my favorite character from Airplane. The music of the whip. Probably not gonna have the music of the whip. I want to have like an actual reasonable discussion about why this new Trek stuff. Sorry, getting distracted by the wind. Why this new Trek stuff is so problematic for people like me. Because I come into this a few years back. A little history for you. I come into this a few years back, just minding my own business, going about my day. I'm like, oh, there's a new Star Trek show. What do they mean they're making the Klingons an allegory for Trump supporters? What does that mean? What does that mean? Why do I care? What exactly?
Are they harbingers of world change? These secrets in the
What happened? What? I went silent because I'm playing a clip. It's terrible. You might want to just be here so you don't keep interrupting me. If you want to be in the stream or not. Well, let's try. Because I'm like, you want to be in the stream? No. So now he keeps interrupting me. What was I saying? Star Trek's activism. I've been tweeting about this today. I've been getting into it with people. I've been tweeting about it. It is basically no deeper than a reference to activism. It is no deeper than climate change bad. Can you go back up there, please? Thank you. I'm sorry. It is well, you're standing like you're hovering over me now instead of pulling up a chair. He's like just standing there hovering. Like, oh. So I don't know. I gotta start the whole video again now. Well, yeah, good luck. You get to edit it and try and piece it together. So I lost my whole train of thought now. Damn it. Yeah, so the wind goes by and it blows really hard. Star Trek. They're talking about bringing back the TNG cast. This dropped last night. Well, first off, with the news of the TNG cast coming back for season 3 of Picard, right in the middle of season 2, what do those actors feel like who've been working their butts off on Star Trek Picard, thinking that they're going to be on the convention circuit for the next decade, just to be shoved aside? Robert Meyer Burnett pointed this out, actually. Just to be shoved aside for the TNG cast. It's extraordinarily disrespectful of Star Trek to do to their own current season. Just to say, oh yeah, forget about this season. Next season it'll be better. Next season it'll be fine. Just stick with us and we'll get this promoted and we'll drop this information right now as Paramount investors and all these people are really, really paying attention to what's going on social media. We need to get this trending. We need to get people talking about Star Trek. We need to get people talking about what's going on so we can convince them to put money up for a fourth fourth Star Trek movie, right? For a fourth Star Trek movie. That's what it feels like. They're trying to get Twitter impressions for this fourth Star Trek movie they've been trying to will into existence forever at the expense of their own shows they currently have in production. At the expense of any, you know, and I get it. You know, you're a professional, you're in the industry, you show up to work, you read the lines. It shouldn't be insulting. But the fact that they're bringing in the TNG cast just shows that even Star Trek doesn't like what Star Trek is doing with Star Trek. Even Star Trek is like, no, we don't want... For crying out loud. I can't form a thought right now. It's too early in the morning. It's too early in the morning to form a thought. Yeah. They know nobody's going to watch Picard Season 2, and they're promoting this as early as they can. The ink on the contract isn't even dry yet. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, they're promoting this now. They're promoting this now, in the middle of Season 2. Right after they just pushed this movie, this JJ movie, this fourth movie for JJ Trek, without any cast members even being informed that they were signed on, and they announce a release date before these cast members even know, before they've even been approached for the TNG movie, or not the TNG movie. Oh, for fuck's sake. I would love to see our favorite YouTube harpy. Does Denise Crosby get to live again? I don't even think so. I cropped her out of the picture because I don't think she was even there. Why was Spineless as part of the season 3 cast? Why are they retconning the death of Data because the alternate timeline BS? That's one of the problems too, is like everything is going to be in this alternate timeline, and short of just going back to everybody being de-aged on the bridge right after All Good Things, I don't think that this is going to be fixing anything. Now, this is the main point I was trying to convey on Twitter this afternoon, was that Star Trek has become... Not only do they think this is a platform for activism, they can't even do that right. They can't even get their activism right. Star Trek used to be this place where we would go to have some sort of hope that things are going to get better, that humans are going to work out their differences, that humans are going to be able to actually look at both sides of an argument and make a rational decision that benefits everybody, instead of this tribe, you're on the other tribe, we don't like you, you're on the other tribe. Well, clearly, if you have a problem with everything that I like, then clearly you're on this other side. Well, I like this one specific thing, and we have everything else in common, but you don't like this one thing I like. Therefore, you're a right-wing Trump supporter, racist. And that argument gets so old. Like, if you say you don't like Discovery, just to have a bunch of people on Twitter jump down your throat before you know what hit you, dragging you into a culture war you want no part of. And that's kind of part of what I really wanted to talk about on this. I wanted to articulate a little bit better than on Twitter what the problem with Star Trek's references and activism are now. Now they're treating even their political messages, instead of I got into it with a production designer. Don't brigade him or anything. I got into it with somebody who used to follow me, and now they've finally since unfollowed. They learned their lesson on that one. You don't follow the harpy unless you want the harpy's opinions on stuff. So they decided to tweet out a response to me saying, but it's no deeper than, hey, remember this, remember that. Oh, Star Trek has always referenced itself. Yeah, it has referenced itself in the past. A couple of times it has referenced itself. It has said, hey, remember this time when this thing happened? And you would be like, oh, so they just have an encyclopedic knowledge of everything that happened on a previous Enterprise or in a previous show. All right, you can take that stuff with a grain of salt. That's not a problem. References in general usually aren't a problem. It's when they're only there as a member berry, as a reference to a thing. Just to say, oh, I remember Picard, I remember Worf, I remember Data. I remember TNG. I remember Star Trek, sure. And what they're doing now with their political activism, which is what I really wanted to get into on this, is it is no deeper than I remember Worf, I remember TNG. It is not this place that I show up to take myself out of today's problems. Because what do we got today? We got inflation. We got Russia. We got Ukraine. We got all these places going on right now. We got all this bad stuff. We got fuel prices through the roof. We have tension that I have never seen, that seemed to have gotten a whole lot better until all these activists started bringing up all this stuff and being kind of crazy. So, I mean, maybe the activists are to blame here on this one. But then that's another problem. The activism in Star Trek isn't any deeper than a reference. This is the hugest point that I've been stuck on for the past couple of weeks here, is that anytime you see a reference in Star Trek, rather than taking me away from my life and my problems and, financial problems, climate problems. We get it. Climate change is a problem. We get it. Racism is a problem. What happened that fixed all that in the future that I can kind of look to and find some hope? Because when I show up to Star Trek Picard or Discovery or any of these new Trek shows, I just get hey, climate change is bad. Hey, immigration problems exist. Hey, the environment. Hey, racism. Hey, white supremacist problems. Okay. What escapism from that is there, though? What escapism that gives me some hope that humans are going to solve it? That humans are going to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, are going to get over this petty garbage? Because when I tune into Star Trek right now, what do I see? I see petty garbage. I see Stacey Abrams being on Star Trek. Here, Stacey Abrams being on Star Trek. I don't even know who that woman is. But all I need to know is that it triggers Ted Cruz, whoever the crap that is. Somebody, Rob, can you find me that tweet? Somebody tweeted out that, and you might need to go through my Twitter history, because I think I quote tweeted it not too long ago. The whole reason Stacey Abrams, who is a political candidate, I'm assuming, the whole reason she was on Star Trek was just to get back at the other guy. Get mad at Ted Cruz because it triggers him. How does that progress society? By treating politics like it's sports. By treating it like this is on our tribe. This is on our team. Because I was just watching a Tim Pool video saying that they've basically legalized post-birth abortion because it triggers the other side. Is that what is that like up to 7 days after? Is that what they're talking about? Is that true or not? Because this is me trying to dip my nose into politics, which I know nothing about. And I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. Like, I can sit there and talk to you all day about, about the Luxor in Las Vegas or something, but I don't understand politics. I don't understand it any deeper than my morals, which were very much shaped by Star Trek, and I think a lot of us are. I had somebody tell me the other day that their moral compass was developed more from Star Trek than it was their own family. I can agree. I can relate to that. I totally understand that. And when I see something like this on Star Trek, it comes across as no more than, cheering because tribe says so, without any talking points, without any reason why. And if I'm under the impression that they're going to treat this candidate like anybody else they treat in Star Trek, then clearly, according to their activism, she's only there because the color of her skin fits the narrative that representation matters. I don't know what her policies are. They don't say anything what her policies are. It's just a cameo. They've always had cameos before. They've always had stunt casting before. I'm not talking about stunt casting. I'm not talking about Seth MacFarlane appearing as an ensign in Enterprise because he's a huge fan. I'm talking about what purpose does this serve other than to get back at the other tribe. And when Star Trek is now reduced to being so immature that it is just referencing things, that's the problem I have. You're not giving me a political message, though. You're just telling me that climate change is bad. You're not giving me a solution, because what I've seen is people going around wearing freaking face masks, littering up the planet. And so are you, from somebody who doesn't know anything about politics, I'm like, so are you pro-destroying the planet or not at this point? Because that's another complete... Why is Stacey... I don't even know who that is. That's the thing. I don't even know who that is. And they're trying, and they're trying so hard to make Star Trek so unwelcoming to people from other countries, from other cultures. They're trying to make it so specific for what side are they on? Left? They're the left. See, I didn't even know which was the right and the left. I didn't know that. Okay, the Democrats are the left. I didn't know that until about 2020. That's how unpolitical I am. I didn't know which one the right and the left were. So they're trying to make it so much so that it's only specifically for people who only believe this certain thing. Because if you don't, you're going to get placed on the naughty list. You're going to get placed on this. And how does that help me or any of us? How does that help us when we see the news and we see what's going on in Russia and we see what's going on in Ukraine and we see the environment and we see the climate? What if we agree? What if we agree we just don't go out there and activism? What if we absolutely agree and we don't go out there and tribe signal? What if we absolutely agree with you on some of these things, but you're basically just not giving us any reason why we would even show up? I mean, I don't need a lecture for something I already know. I already know climate change is bad or something. I already know racism's bad. Why do I need to have all of this explained to me in a way that doesn't even explain it to me? That's the other part of Star Trek. It doesn't even explain. It doesn't even take a situation. Like, if they really wanted to do, let's take the gay stuff. If they really wanted to take a situation where you have characters who are in a gay relationship, whatever, who cares? You take them to a planet, like let's say Stamets beams down because he's their chief engineer now or something. And they invite, oh, please come and bring your spouses to this formal dinner. And then he shows up with his husband, and then it's a problem because, we don't condone this on this planet. And you see the homophobia from another viewpoint that doesn't necessarily say you are bad because we think you view this thing. It's like, really? Do you really know what I believe? Because, or are you just assuming because I said Star Trek Discovery isn't very good or Star Trek Picard isn't very good? That is like the big writing crop of truth. It's just bad writing, isn't it? Because it's the Kelvin timeline. I think so too. Why did Guinan not recognize Picard in 2024? Yeah, that was part of it too. Why did Guinan not recognize Picard? Rob just read an article on that. Now you can come in here, Rob. Why didn't Guinan not recognize Picard? Did they explain it away somehow? The claim is an alternate timeline.
The Federation didn't exist, so that Picard wasn't initially able to go back in time because there was no Federation.
Yeah, there's no Federation to go back in time for.
Therefore, didn't recognize.
That's Obi-Wan. That's the next thing.
Which is BS because Guinan would have exists outside of time.
She remembered Picard from the Nexus because she does exist outside of time. There's a part of me that's still in the Nexus. She would have seen him there. She would have probably said, "Oh, I know you," but at least she knew he was important.
She said she probably wouldn't have said, who he was, but she would have recognized you. I know you. You're familiar. You're not from this time.
Yeah. She's like, you're not supposed to be here. That's how I would have written it. She would have walked up to him and said, what are you doing here? No, I mean, you specifically, Jean-Luc. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah. And
he said, oh, Guinan, it's so good to see you.
Guinan.
I shouldn't be seeing you.
Oh, right. I shouldn't be seeing you. I'm so old, my eyesight is giving out on me. I'm old. I'm an old white dude. I'm sorry.
PCAT, I'm not a fan of Discovery. The new Trek fans that say I'm a racist even though I love Sisko. Yeah, and that's the thing. Star Trek's always been diverse. Star Trek is always... My favorite captain was Sisko always because he was a good combination of Picard and Kirk. Only not as foo-foo and stuffy. Like Picard let a lot of people walk on him, and I didn't like that about Picard, to be perfectly honest, in TNG. But then again, I mean, that's part of his character. So, I mean, now it's not completely even out of character for him to be apologizing a little bit. However, when we see all this activism in Star Trek, when we see all of this stuff, when we see all of this, it just really shows me that they don't even understand it beyond, they always have excuses. They always have these pre-programmed talking points. They have a list of stuff. They come prepared, and they hate arguing with me. They always either block me or unfollow me or whatever because they hate arguing with me because somebody will say, "Oh, it's stunt casting to bring in Stacey Abrams," and I say, you know what, stunt casting I don't have a problem with. When you're bringing in a political candidate for the only reason of Blue Wave and Orange Man bad. That doesn't do anything to solve anything. That doesn't do anything to have humanity working together to explore space. That does nothing to bridge a gap on the other side. That does nothing to treat humans like they're all equal. That is this elitist moral superiority that Star Trek is littered with and infested with. And you see it in even the cast members on Twitter. You see Marina Sirtis, what she says about conservatives. I'm like, hold up. Because now that I'm kind of labeled as one, even though I never really considered myself one, who cares at this point, right? They treat everybody who isn't part of their team like they're less than, like they're disgusting, lecherous pariahs of society. They don't have this respect for human life. They don't have this respect for progress. They don't have this respect for equality. They want equity. They want to use people as a commodity. They want to have a diversity cast member so they can market it to, oh, well, we need to market to this community. We need to market to that community because representation. And they don't actually give you any story allegories that give these people any reason to be stating their pronouns. You know what? If you want to have an alien culture in Discovery or something, tell these people, hey, I'm offended because you think this way. Great. And then we can give a story, but these people aren't capable of it if we had actual good writers. And I hate being so angry about it. I really hate being so angry about it because I'm like, just so freaking tired of the culture war in things that are supposed to be escapism. I'm so tired of making every piece of entertainment a battleground for this side versus that side. Star Trek used to be free of that. Star Trek used to be devoid of that. And the fact that all they can do is sit there on Twitter and say, yes, it's always had references. It's always had this. Yeah, it also always had inconsistency and canon problems until it got to a point where people started complaining and they fixed that. Or they tried to. And now they have this blatant disregard for anything canonical, anything that's happened before. Take Whoopi Goldberg, for example. They bring her in as Guinan. Great! We loved Guinan. We loved Whoopi Goldberg as Guinan back in the day. I can ignore all of her BS bat crap crazy stuff on The View if you're giving me Guinan as a character. For the most part, except for these last 2 years, because I'm constantly inundated by all of this stuff. Same thing with Marita Sirtis. Same thing with Will Wheaton, even. A lot of these people. The problem is, when you see a show like Picard, and they go up and Guinan doesn't recognize Picard, that just shows me they clearly didn't see Time Zero. They clearly didn't see Picard. When they say, and they applaud how Guinan goes and says, oh, well, clearly, you see, all these billionaires have all this money in the world, and they could just go and help everybody, and they don't. Or, oh yeah, clearly, Picard, there's not a problem for you because of how you look. That doesn't do anything to make me think that Star Trek is going to be my escapism from this. That Star Trek is going to give us any solutions on a way out of this. Because you know how they solved it before? They solved a lot of this stuff before by not letting these stupid petty differences divide us. By not having this mindset and this attitude that their way of thinking is the only correct way. The Orville does this so much better. And this is actually what got me blocked from the Star Trek Twitter account officially, like Star Trek on Paramount Plus or something, was they tweeted out one day, what cast would you be stranded with? Would you love to be stranded with of all these new shows? Who would you want to be stranded with on a planet? What crew? And I tweeted out a response of the Orville, because I thought that the Orville cast would be the only one who would keep everybody alive. It said, I'd agree that DeSantis doesn't belong in Star Trek. No, DeSantis doesn't belong in Star Trek. Ted Cruz doesn't belong in Star Trek. Trump doesn't belong in Star Trek. That's the thing. I don't need Star Trek to be bringing in all these real world activism issues right now when they don't do anything with it. And I think that's my bigger complaint, is that they're using activism as references to only further separate and divide people, to only further tribalize teams and teams of people. They don't even consider the fact that other opinions might be valid. They don't even consider where other people are coming from, where other points of view are coming from. And in a show like Star Trek, that has to be one of the most important things, is to seek out new civilizations, new thought processes, new life, right? To open your mind instead of closing it to, oh, well, yes, but our ideals are correct and we will never ever progress past this point in history. We're never going to learn anything new. Nobody's ever going to, go back and look at a time and say, oh, gee, weren't we silly then? Because stuff that was completely progressive years ago is now getting shunned and poo-pooed and fa-fa'd upon. They're now going out of their way to tell you that their ideology, and at this point in time and at this point in history, everything is solved and fixed and we got all of our crap together and we know best and you're just wrong. And if you don't just agree, yes, climate change. Okay, we agree. We agree. Climate change bad. We got it. We agree. Racism's bad. How did they fix that in Star Trek now? Because you're telling me that with these shows being as dark and gritty as they are, even when they're not in 2024, when Picard in season 1 had 7 of 9, Mercy kill Icheb after this. You know, I don't get to pull this one up very often. After this thing, where is it? We won't even show you the whole clip. He gets his eye ripped out. Sean House, thank you so much. The immigration thing isn't even real anymore under Biden. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The Orville is more Czech than Discovery. Yep. Sorry, I had to pop a gummy because anxiety is a B word. And that's another thing that I like to reference in Star Trek. Mental health issues. All right. So can we talk a little bit about how Picard, then I'll get more into this TNG coming back, this cast stuff. Picard, in the last episode of Picard, he says about his ancestor, who seems to have no point of being there. Why didn't Q just go back in time and kill her? Or something. Like, he doesn't want her to go on the mission. Why would he set up this elaborate plot to sit there and talk to her and go through therapy with her just to convince her she's too afraid to go up into space? All right, sure. Elaborate, convoluted plot, just to, I don't know, just to confuse people and have so much crap thrown at the screen that you can't stop and say, wait a minute, wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it be more realistic? Wouldn't it be more plausible? Wouldn't it be more probable? They don't want you to do that. They stop the show dead in his tracks. So Picard has this lecture about how depression and anxiety are crippling and debilitating in humans. All right, how did the 24th century fix that? Did you give us did they give us some solution? Did they say, and we learned that people needed to have some accomplishments in life and they needed to have the freedom to explore and express and to fail. They needed to have the freedom to fail. That's one of the things that gives me a lot of anxiety and depression. I'm somebody who absolutely suffers from anxiety, absolutely suffers from depression. And one of the things that helps me with that is, well, getting some exercise, eating a little bit better, getting enough rest, and feeling like I've accomplished something, right? That's one thing. But the fact that they have nothing more than a lecture in Picard on why depression's bad, why anxiety is bad. I got it. I get it. I understand that. What type of hope for humanity in the future do I have when Picard is still acting like anxiety and depression are a huge problem in the 24th century because of the people like, I don't know, Agnes and Seven and Raffi and all these losers that go around flying throughout space being unlikable? Like, that's another problem with Picard. What do these characters even have in common with each other? Why do we care? Like, that speaks volumes to me about why Picard bringing in these decrepit cast members is so disappointing at this point, right? Because normally you'd have a show where you're like, yeah, we're gonna promote this cast. No, they fixed it with a hot ship counselor turned bitchy in their old age. Thank you so much, Sean Russell. Thank you so much. Yeah, we get it. And even in the 24th century, yeah, depression's a thing, anxiety's a thing. Barclay had it. We got it. We get it. We understand. Hoshi had a massive amount of anxiety. We saw her overcome it in a way that, you know, because here's the thing. She didn't have the anxiety to get on a starship. She didn't have the anxiety to fly throughout the galaxy. She had a little bit of hesitation. Her fear was being dematerialized in an experimental transporter that was only used to transport cargo up to the ship. It wasn't like, I'm afraid to do my job and show up to work, right? I mean, like this astronaut chick who, first off, Picard's ancestor astronaut chick. First off, NASA isn't exactly recruiting self-taught pilots or anything. You have to have some sort of regulation for that. Second off, She would never pass any of the flight exams. If she's there crashing the simulator every week, don't put her in space. Say, look, you can't do this job. Take her off the assignment. Problem solved. And you wouldn't need this big convoluted mess about her anxiety and depression. Is that Beverly Mill? Yeah. So they're bringing back all these cast members, forgetting that Worf looked completely different. Are they going to make him a Klingork? Are they going to turn him into that? Or is Q going to do something and he's just going to like, and now it's TNG and now it's good start. Is he going to do that? I don't think that's going to happen. Look at the lineup. They're ancient. I say that as a fellow ancient. Oh, me too. I got to dye my hair soon. So Q should acknowledge how Picard cheated death yet again after season 1. It's not like how he cheated death after being stabbed through the heart. That would be a decent callback to TNG around season 1. Yeah, I don't mind the callbacks. I really don't. I mean, the one that kind of bothered me in Picard was when they went back to Earth and they had the guy, he's like, I still hate you. The same punk rocker with the same hairstyle and the same song with the same boombox. I'm sorry. I go for walks in the park playing Pokemon and there's guys riding by on bikes blasting music on their cell phones. Different times. It would be a different time. And not only that, this is a guy who flipped off Captain Kirk. Oh, but he shuts it for a woman. He shuts it because a bitchy woman looks at him and Karens him. Great. So 7 of 9 is now a raging Karen. Ancients. Are we talking Stargate canon now? Oh gosh, I would love to. Oh, I would love to. Oh, you're making too much sense. And that's the thing, like, I would love it if Star Trek brought somebody like me on, but I'm too hot-headed and angry about it. And, you know, this is why somebody like Robert Meyer Burnett's the perfect choice for it. They would never do it because they don't want a difference of opinion. They want their little confirmation bias. They want their echo chamber. They want to know that they're in the right and they're morally superior and they're the ones who are better people. They don't want to realize that they're exactly the same as the people who they're mad at, I should say. Probably worse. You're writing better for free. Yeah. And that's my issue is like I end up coming up with better Star Trek plot points just off the top of my head. I have better jokes for Amy Schumer off the top of my head. Desperate to get any attention for season 2. Yeah, and that's what all this really boils down to for me. It just comes across as getting attention for the next season of Star Trek while throwing their current season just completely under the bus. It's like, oh yeah, well forget about that. You're going to have all the people you really want. Hey, Q's back. Well, go come in and watch a couple of scenes with Q. You like him and Brent Spiner's back. And here's the problem with Picard. Here's the problem I have with Picard. If it had come from a point, and if they had stated in the beginning that that's an alternate timeline where things were all wrong, where 7 of 9 is now a murderer, where they built robot slaves for reasons and science, I suppose. If they had told us that to beginning, if they didn't have to break the universe to tell the story, then I wouldn't be sitting here complaining, because the only way to fix this, in my opinion, is to have Q say, okay, and now that we've seen all that, he snaps his fingers and it's all back to TNG. And it looks like TNG, and it feels like TNG. And it has the hopeful optimism, and it doesn't have that brown shit filter. And it doesn't have that moral superiority complex. And that's what Star Trek seems to have now. It is an extension of the elitism we see in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry. It is the extension of the elitism that we see in that side of the aisle, particularly in the political activism side of the aisle, right? It is exactly all of this. And the fact that they threw their entire second season cast under the bus, or 1 and 2 season cast under the bus, just they're like, oh well, this didn't do it. You didn't sign on for 7 of 9. You didn't like 7 of 9 enough. You didn't like Q. You still are watching for Q. You still aren't watching for Data. Data's back. You don't like Data being back. It's like, well, Data's been dead. I dealt with Data dying years ago, 20 years ago. I dealt with Data dying 20-some years ago. No subtle social commentary, no moral gray area, no analytical studying of difference of opinion, unlike the Orville, where they can have all that all the time. About a Girl is a perfect example, and that was only episode 3. Exactly. Let's talk about how amazing About a Girl was. They take, if you guys are unfamiliar, which you probably aren't, you're here talking Star Trek, so you've probably seen it already. We'll praise the crap out of the Orville. Yeah, I'm sure they'll mess up the characters either way. This is Kurtzman crap, right? Right? When you get something like the Orville, and they take a race of aliens who are all males, and gay marriage is not an issue in that society because it's an all-male society, right? They're like, oh yeah, that's just normal. Everybody's gay. Great. I can get on board with that. That's an interesting way to tell that story. Then you see deeper and deeper, like, oh, you do have a female born once every so often. And then you start unraveling. It's like, oh no, it's all the time. It's like a third of the population. And they're doing reassignments on people all the time because that's their normal culture. That is a great allegory for how the normalization of transgenderism is occurring in our society. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, it doesn't have to be about that, but you can kind of make a comparison in the back of your head. And you can see both sides of the aisle that, yes, on the one hand, the people who are pushing for the making of the whole population all the same, are they the good guys or the bad guys? You don't know. The way they're telling the story is they kind of seem like the bad guys. Then you see this colony of all females who are all rescued and didn't have that happen to them, of all these Mocklins. And then you find that, oh, are they the bad guys? Or are they because now they are trying to rebel and break away from their government. So they're trying to say, no, we want to be our own people. And they're like, no, you can't be because you're dangerous out there and we need to stop you. And that's such an interesting allegory of how they put it, because you can make who I would assume Seth MacFarlane is fairly gay rights, fairly pro-choice, fairly, well, we know he's very left-leaning. We know he's very liberal. So I'm going to make some assumptions based on the rest of his politics that he's probably very trans rights oriented in some way. He probably doesn't speak a lot of it because he's more focused on climate, which is great. Everybody can be different activists for different things. You don't have to be. That's another problem with Star Trek, is you can be all for gay rights, but you can still be very, very fiscally conservative, and they don't understand the difference. They don't understand the difference in that. Seth MacFarlane, on the other hand, takes a situation where you would think that, okay, transgender rights, that's a thing. Great. Got it. That's a good message if you want to be putting that in your story. Great. Star Trek would do it. This new Trek would do it as you're wrong if you don't support this 100%. Okay, well, what if they're forcing people? No, you're a Trump supporter. And that's their whole mentality. And I really hate that. Turned working 9 to 5 into a battle cry. Wasn't that cute? See, what happened to the Klingons? Klingon culture was very sad. Yeah. Well, the Klingons they ruined completely anyway by making them all. The Klingons used to be this kind of honorable. They were like bikers, but they had a code of honor, and you could kind of just be like, clearly you could Twitter them a little bit. You could do the clearly you think this, and you could just kind of stand. That was how you handle a Klingon, like you're handling a biker. You stand strong and you kind of toss it right back at him with a smile on your face. Sean Russell, Trek used to do that. Remember the androgynous race of the feminine one that Riker was banging? Yes, Trek used to be able to do that. They don't understand that now. New Trek has this ideological mindset that everything is done. We will never progress any further as a society than we are right now, and that everything we believe is absolutely correct right now in this moment. All right. Everybody's been banning Russia this and Russia that. Get Chekhov off the bridge. He's Russian. Ooh, you can't say that. Why not? They have this really low level understanding of the social aspects of things. Like, I always did really well in sociology and psychology classes when I was in school, but the sociopolitical stuff was kind of a different sort of Bobby Rydell died. Anyway, I'm old. It was always a different sort of way to tell stories, right? They don't understand that now. Now it's just activism. And anytime you say anything else, anytime you come in with a, yes, but you're just using it as references to activism. They're like, well, Star Trek has always been referential. Star Trek has always referenced itself. Okay. But even your point of a political message, the message that you're trying to make and you're trying to tell me about whatever, it's still a reference to a better Star Trek episode. Why does anybody need to go to this new Trek for a political message when you get everything you need from 50-year-old Star Trek now, 50-year-old Star Trek, They've not advanced any past that. They just think that's only the definitive only. We've not advanced past 1967 as a society. We are stagnant. And the fact that they have to drag out and prop up the old cast just to appease or appeal to or try and trick the last few remaining Star Trek fans to come back on board just to see what happens, right? And they shouldn't have to do that. If they're making bad Trek, guess what? We come around to bad Trek unless you're combative a-holes on Twitter or online or in media or on articles, right? That is a big point I also want to make here, is that I used to be able to say Enterprise was terrible and not get, of course I wasn't saying it on Twitter back then because there really wasn't one. But you didn't get that. Well, clearly you don't. Clearly this. Clearly you're this political affiliate. You used to be able to just express an opinion without being labeled. Sav, I'm watching Enterprise. What do you think of it? What do you guys think of Enterprise? Modern day political messaging infects everything. I do not hate the new Klingons. They would be fine for a total reboot. The producers and writers are not that smart, Gareth Morgan says. Yeah. That's another thing. That's another thing. If they were going to, well, you know they're going to do it with Strange New Worlds. They're just going to reboot the TNG cast, or TOS cast, rather. Fine, if you're going to reboot the TOS cast. The more I see of Strange New Worlds, the more it makes me think that it's just going to try and be the Orville. It's going to be a knockoff Orville show. So, I mean, it might be halfway watchable, or it might be complete cringe. I don't know. I completely did a 180 after seeing the trailers and after seeing Lower Decks, because I thought, oh, well, that one might be the best one. And it wasn't. They would know subtlety if it walked up and slapped them like like Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. They would and cancel subtlety. Mystic Librarian, first time around I didn't like Enterprise. It got better the more I watched it. Yeah, but I don't think Enterprise. I can take the bad episodes of Enterprise over the bad episodes of Picard and Discovery, just because it still feels like Star Trek. It still has the ideologies without the preachiness. And I think that's what it really boils down to for a lot of people, is that it's this preachiness, right? It's this, well, we're right, and if you complain about it, then you're clearly this, and this, and you're wrong. And they don't understand. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They want to argue, right? And this is one of my problems, because that's somebody who was following me. I think he unfollowed me finally because I don't see him anymore. But he was following me from the production of Star Trek, and I said, hey, I'm going live to talk about this right now if you want to hear what I have to say. The problem is, it's the argument. It's the, but Star Trek always referenced. But Star Trek's always been political. But. Are you a fucking motorboat or something? Why are you butting me? Why can't you just respect the fact that the politicization, the specific politicization with nothing deeper than just a reference to it, is not the same as giving me an allegory for a race of people who have white on one side of their face and black on the other side, and they're enemies with the people who have white on this side and black on this side. Why, like, that's not the same thing as just saying this candidate or this political affiliation is the right one. That doesn't tell me why. That doesn't give me any reason for it. That doesn't give me anything deeper than, because if you're telling me that Star Trek is now only a show for people who are only political activists, right? Who are only LGBTQ allies, who are only of this sort of thing, then what hope is there that we're going to advance as a society if Star Trek is so exclusively for one side of the aisle? What hope does that give us at reaching a compromise and seeing each other's points of views from other sides of the aisle? That gives me no hope. That just makes me think that, okay, well, World War III is going to be right around the corner. And Star Trek doesn't care. And what hope do I have when I'm struggling and dealing with my own crap and my own depression and my own anxiety and my own rent hike being $300 and my own cost of living going through the roof, right? What hope does that give me that society is going to get any better if the very entertainment and people I used to go to for enlightenment when I was a teenager are the ones who are the problem now, are the ones who are contributing to what's going to destroy this world? And that is this over politicization, the overly combative, the overly polarized tribal stuff. This is why, like, I can listen to Robert Meyer Burnett, and I can't speak highly enough of him. I can listen to him, and I don't feel like, you know, he's out there being unwelcoming to people. I don't feel like, you know, even the people he disagrees with, he will bring up a letter, he will read the letter of somebody who says, hey, I love the representation in Discovery. And he'll say, that's great. That's great. I love that you love the representation in Discovery. And now here's how we do it, or here's how they did it back then, in a way that you might not have realized, or you might not have seen. And what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? Gareth Morgan says it cannot. It can still be all those things even if you're not militant about it. Exactly. And there's not even a problem with people who do feel one way or another watching these shows, right? If you are super duper activisty, great. That's your right. That's your thing. Go be it. Just don't hurt anybody. The problem I have with this new Trek is that they give me no reason to even want to associate with that side of people. They give me no reason because it's just this, and I haven't been doing any better. I admit that I give it the same. I'm exactly the same. I'm trying to be better because at least I can kind of understand that. But you think that people making it would be better than some of us idiots arguing about it. And that's not the case anymore. Like, the people who are making it, you know, half of these producers and stuff have burner accounts. You know, half of these people, I mean, I know Wilson Cruz probably has been stalking everything I've said since he blocked me on his main because he just wants to argue. I'm glad DS9 is not going to do this. I hope DS9 stays free of this. Must try and support a parallel society. I don't know if that's, I mean, Ideally, my perfect society would be the one where everybody kind of says, you know what? We're not all correct. We don't have all the answers yet. We need to learn from each other. But that's not how society is right now. Everybody's like, nope, I want to hear what I'm going to preach. I want to know only from my people. And I get it all the time, even in entertainment. Like, even if I say, hey, the prequels sucked, well, I'll have 2 people unsubscribe say, nope, I love the prequels. I disagree with you. I can't watch this channel. And that's for Star Wars. So I'm looking at my next. Good afternoon from New Jersey, Mr. Long. Hello. Picard is an insult. Discovery and Picard are an insult to Star Trek and the fans. The fact that they're bringing in, I agree. The fact that they're bringing in the TNG cast is just an insult to their own cast. It's just a way to trick and grift and convince people to jump on board who might have just remembered a little, oh yeah, that new Star Trek's back. Let me go check that out. Because there's a lot of people out there who just watched casually back in the 90s, who might have seen First Contact in the theater, like, oh hey, the Borg Queen's back. Let's see what's going on there. Because that's how I was with Voyager. I came back once the Borg stuff was happening, once 7 of 9 was on, because I watched Voyager, and I was like 14 years old or so when that came out, 13, 14, something like that, 15. And when Voyager came on, I'm like, oh, we got a woman captain? Oh, that's awesome. And then I watched it, and then the show wasn't good at first. It got better, but they had to get rid of Kess, they had to get rid of Seska, they had to get rid of a lot of the bad, and then it got really, really watchable. It got really good. Voyager became one of my favorites from, like, depending on my mood, Voyager was my favorite. And then sometimes DS9 was my favorite once I finally got around to watching that one in order. Only watch DS9 in order if you're watching it. Don't just pick and choose a couple episodes. Don't just pick in the Pale Moonlight because it's one of the best. You know, you kind of need to sit through the goofy. You kind of need to sit through Quark and Drag to kind of get the bigger picture, to kind of get this is a crew of people who respect and work together, even though you got a Ferengi bartender, a shapeshifter security officer, this human alien hybrid commander that we didn't realize yet, and human non-corporeal hybrid, I should say. That's about how Lower Decks compare to the rest of New Trek. Oh, I hate Lower Decks. I cannot express. Oh, it went out of focus. Get him on focus. There you go. I cannot express how disgusted I am with Lower Decks. Trek and Morty's gotta go. I'm sorry. At first, like, we went to Star Trek Las Vegas in 2019, and we saw the panel, and we're like, okay, they're doing the research. they seem to be kind of on the right step, as you know, they're trying to reference, and then it became nothing but references. Like, we were doing just compilations of all the references. I probably have them on the stream deck, but I don't want to stop the stream for 5 minutes to play one episode of references. It is gross. It is violent. It is vulgar. It is disrespectful. This what's the name of the chick on Lower Decks? Bowel Movement, BM. What's her name? Beckett Mariner. Bowel Movement. Beckett Mariner, we call her BM for short, is so disrespectful to her commanding officer. First off, why is your mother your commanding officer? She's like, I do what I want. Oh, I hate it. Steve Botham, happy jiggles. That makes me happy. Trials and tribulations for the win. That's another. Oh, don't get me started on how they paid attention to detail back then. You get DS9's Trials and Tribulations. That's a good one you can watch. And thank you so much, Steve Botham. Trials and Tribulations, you can sit there and watch, and you can compare. You can see them making the effort to make it look like Star Trek. They're putting in the effort. They're acknowledging that this is the Star Trek we love, and yeah, it's dated a little bit, and yeah, it's got some corny moments, and yeah, it's got lights that look like chiclets, and yeah, the set looks cheap, but we love it. Stop insulting it. Appreciate it. Be celebratory. Don't think that's a bad thing. That was always the thing that really bothers me about this, how they redid the Enterprise on Strange New Worlds. It's like you're acting like TOS was a bad thing. All right, sure, there's a few episodes I think are a little unwatchable, like the Gary 7 one's pretty damn unwatchable. Thanks for referencing the unwatchable Trek, but the fact that DS9 and Enterprise both went through and made an effort. They not only did they make an effort, they got this meticulous detail down. They even went to the effort in TNG when they brought in, as dumb as it was, when they brought in Scotty and Forrest Kelly, Bones. They brought him in. Voyager had potential, but they didn't have a B or C story arc carried through the whole year. The conflict with the Maquis crew could have been great. Year of Hell should have been a season. The USS Equinox. It could have been. Yeah. One of the problems I had with Voyager in the very beginning was I did not like the Kazon. I thought that they not only were not pleasant to look at, they're kind of ugly alien designs, but they weren't very interesting. They were just like knockoff ugly Klingons. They're like dime store Klingons in a lot of ways. They weren't really that interesting. Or Cardassians. They were like a Cardassian Klingon hybrid with bird nets in their hair and matted dreadlock crap. They looked ugly. As an alien design, and this is probably part of my problem with the Xindi too, is how ugly the alien designs look. Because let's face it. I know not all aliens are going to be pretty, but you know it's a nitpick. It's a pet peeve of mine. One of the things I did come into with Voyager though, when it started getting really good, it was during the 7 of 9 stuff, or even right before that. There was a whole lot of really good Voyager. Rob, you want to talk about Voyager? Any of it. The Kazon are what you get when you cross a Karen and a Rasta and give them shitty dress. How can they keep running into the same bad guys when they're headed full CB back home? That's another one. Why do they keep running into the Kazon over and over again? You remember the Kazon? What did you think of the Kazon?
Yeah, the Kazon were okay. It was always Kazon, the Borg. I mean...
Well, once I got into the phage, once I got into the Vidian phage stuff, that's when Voyager was kind of getting really, really good. How far into that was that? Was that pretty early? That's pretty early, right?
Season 2 maybe? 2
or so? The Vidian phage part of Voyager was so interesting to me because you had all these medical dilemmas and debates. You know, you had so many, there were so many medical debates in Voyager that I loved because that was like a huge thing in the 90s too, because the abortion stuff was huge. So you'd see like, you know, okay, is it morally reasonable to harvest people's organs to save your species? That was an interesting as crap storyline. Yeah, Chef Nation, how are they going to bring back Data? I don't know.
Data's backed up somewhere on a flash drive.
Yeah, Data's backed up. Well, they cloned his brain. They cloned his positronic brain.
Cloned his positronic brain. Yeah. They think it's like a cell, like stem cells.
They don't know. They don't know the difference.
No, they really don't. They don't. They do not.
They could have done more of the Voth before. It's gonna be before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, his head should be at the cave. They'll go find his. It's gonna end with him finding his head in the cave. Yeah, like Bender. I forgot about the point I was making with Guinan. Like, they were tweeting out how stunning and brave it was that Guinan goes around saying how racist everything was in the 2024. I'm like, Guinan was literally palling around with Samuel Clemens in one of the most racially tense moments post-Civil War of our history.
Yeah.
She was hobnobbing with elites. She's basically the same as Whoopi Goldberg saying, "Oh, it's racist to call us all this." Like, Guinan was more of a problem than Picard because she was literally there.
Yeah.
She was literally physically there condoning the white supremacy of the time, which was the wealthy, privileged. Sorry.
But they don't do, and they didn't do anything with it. They could have showed Guinan, like, doing, like activist stuff, you know? She could have been...
Data's sitting on my Miku drive.
She could have been feeding homeless people. She could have been...
No, she's just sitting there being mad about it.
Look at this, Picard. Like, wealth inequality
You ain't doing anything about it either, Guinan.
Wealth inequality is bad. Racism is bad. Greed is bad.
Well, maybe you should turn yourself into a different skin shade then, Madam Guinan.
I'm out.
Yes, Madam Guinan. I still call her Madam Guinan. They never saw that episode. We watched Red Letter Media's review of it, and we realized that they didn't even see that episode.
No. Re.
Speaking of re, to come play What the Dub tonight, where we go re in robot voices, and it's hilarious. We're gonna do a stream of that tonight, probably 9 or 8.
I have about 10 new clips right now.
So we got 10 new clips. We'll probably have a few more. We've been adding little clips from Picard and Discovery just for transformative commentary usage.
I've been finding like training videos and stuff like that.
Training videos are great. Political speeches have been fun, but I'm kind of like getting so burned out on the culture war.
Beer commercials are now beer commercials I've been looking at.
Yeah.
How
about the lame retcon 10 forward got his name on Enterprise D? Picard didn't even realize that. Yeah. Watch Red Letter Media's review of those. They pick out stuff that we're like, oh, we missed that. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're so good. So we'll pick out stuff. I think I was even commenting on one of theirs. I'm like, yeah, one of the things they've been doing. This is I've been obsessed with this thought is that they've been using their politicization and their political talking points as member berries, as references. Hey, remember Orange Man bad? Remember climate change? I remember.
Remember Michael Dukakis? Yeah, I remember.
Was he the one that showed his junk to people?
No, he was the one that was on the riding on the tank with the helmet. It looked really bad. Anyways.
That's a little before my time. Yeah, I was like 8.
But anyway.
I was watching Star Trek back then. I'm sorry.
So was I.
I know.
Okay. Anyway.
They hate Picard. I love their reviews. Yeah, I've been doing mine just review. I'm just doing on mine.
Review.
Do the discussion about the Simpsons 2 episodes, the Blunder Years, and Last Exit to Springfield. Do discussion. Can we do a discussion of the Simpsons? I haven't seen those in a while. Oh God, Blunder Years and Last Exit to Springfield. I love. Yeah. Tweet that to me. Maybe I will sometime.
But the other thing too is
I haven't seen those in years.
This whole idea, Star Trek has always been political. Okay, but you're doing nothing with it. You aren't making any larger points.
No.
You aren't.
They're not telling me why Stacey Abrams is a good candidate. Just that she's there.
They're not saying why this is bad. They're not saying, oh, here's how we could potentially solve it. Here is, these people. Oh, racism is bad. Greed is bad. Wealth and inequality is okay, but these people. This is bad. Like, okay, but that's it. That's all you're doing. You're just paying it lip service.
Yeah, you're just saying it.
Look, Star Trek's always been political. See.
Yeah, but it was never just a to get back. Oh yeah, here's what you're talking about with this Stacey. Here's one of them.
Yeah, well.
And I wanted the tweet. Somebody who worked on the show. Was it the guy that blocked me?
They included the tweet.
Oh, they include the tweet. No, not his. No, somebody else.
Oh well.
Somebody else. Was it this guy?
Maybe.
Was it this guy? Into my veins. Twitter.
Maybe, I don't know.
Something went
something
wrong.
about something that triggers Ted Cruz.
Yeah, they only did it to trigger Ted Cruz.
Well, that was that guy. But at the same time,
Suspended account.
Yeah, he.
Yeah. Oh, that guy got banned. Okay, that guy got banned. But the problem, like, I saw somebody who was, like, involved with the show or some blue check mark or something, or somebody was just tweeting, "Yay, Ted Cruz is triggered that Stacey Abrams is on there." I'm like,
you did nothing with it.
Why am I opposed to Ted Cruz and pro Stacey Abrams? Can you tell me?
This
as somebody who may have never heard of either of these people.
And this is akin to a political endorsement because you have someone who is an active candidate now.
Like okay, you guys in the UK. Staff says it's 10:05 in the UK. Sorry, you're keeping you up so late. Do you guys know who this is in the UK? Morbid Fury. Do you know who this is? Like, you're in Australia. People who are outside the country. All right, all hail GB Matthew Armitage. Yeah, like I'm just curious about people who are outside of the country.
Matthew Armitage, no.
No, yeah.
No, yeah, that's the thing.
I'm clueless too,
Listen,
and I live in the country.
Okay, listen, Star Trek is always just by its very nature of being made in the U.S. is going to skew that way a bit.
All right.
But at the same time, it does.
Well, it's just like how Doctor Who always lands in London. Yeah, we get it. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, and that's just by its very nature. However, you have certain things that are kind of universal truths and that are relatable no matter where you go. Okay? Everywhere you go, like, if there's a disease, so let's just say there's a plot about a disease. Oh, that affects everybody. Okay?
Yeah.
There's this plot about military invasion. Oh, that's a familiar topic.
Anybody could relate.
They did a whole episode about on Voyager called Critical Care about how rich people can afford to go to doctors. Poor people can't, and they get sick and die. Rich people just are healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Voyager did a great job of putting that into an allegory. Where if I see something like that on a ballot, I can go and say, "Oh, I saw this on Voyager. I already have an opinion on this one way or another," without even having to have a tribal political trigger. And the fact that, and I'm still trying to find it, the fact that somebody was tweeting about this where they liked Stacey Abrams being on the show because it triggered the right kind of people. That's just insulting to anybody who doesn't know anything about this, who doesn't, and like, it's because if I say, well, who is this person? Then they're going to say, oh, well, you love this guy then. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in his district.
Well, he's a senator, but I have.
See, I don't even know I don't even know what he runs.
He's senator from Texas, but he's one of the most slimy pieces of scum, in my opinion.
And that's fine to have the opinion, because
but the thing is,
and it's fine if you like him too. I don't want people to feel excluded if they love Ted Cruz, because like what how I got to be better than Star Trek. I have to be better than Star Trek now.
But the thing is this, okay? Let's say if Ted Cruz calls up, says tomorrow, hey, can I be on Star Trek? I'm a huge fan. Are you gonna have him?
No, they would never have him on.
They know.
No, because they hate him.
Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Joe Rogan. No.
What about Tim Pool? What if Tim Pool's on there? I watch him all the time, and I don't think he's conservative.
Tim Pool loves Star Trek.
I was watching him last night talk about Star Trek, and that's what like kind of got me on this rant of it is just for Member Barry's references of politics now. Is because he's talking about how vile and disgusting and gross it is and whatever he was saying. Watch his stream last night. They were talking about it probably halfway through. Anywho, if he showed up wanting to be on Star Trek, do you think they'd let him on, or do you think because you Google him and they've got all the this and that?
They would not. No, they would not.
They never have me on because I'm already labeled and considered. And
Morbid, this is pathetic. This only exists to be spiteful. Yeah.
And that's the whole message of Star Trek is spite.
Dr. Ricky was the one that wanted Stacey Abrams on. And another thing is, it represents.
Is she from his area? Is he from Georgia?
I don't know if he's from Georgia, but there's nothing. This also represents a clear conflict of interest because she is running for governor of a state where there is a lot of movie and television production, and she could potentially get Star Trek and CBS and Viacom certain tax breaks to relocate in the state of Georgia.
That's kind of one of my issues with that too, is that like once I kind of realized, oh, she's from Georgia. Don't they do filming in Georgia? So what my instinct was with Stacey Abrams being on Georgia. My first instinct was, oh, they're gonna try and get her elected so they get some tax breaks so they can relocate to Georgia for the next season of something.
Yeah.
That was my first instinct, because I have to assume the worst of these people, because like I said, they use people for their diversity. They use people as circus freaks. They have her on because like before I knew anything about her, I assumed she was on because she's a black woman, because that's how they treat people in modern day Star Trek, which is disgusting to me. You know, they treat the gays like token, diversities, and
And really,
Rich Evans for Star Trek. You think they'd ever let Rich Evans on?
No, absolutely
Put Mark
not.
Dice on Star Trek. Oh, he's hilarious too. You hate Mark Dice.
Oh, God.
They were advertising. Oh, this is funny. Speaking of Mark Dice, I was watching one of his videos where he's like, the Marxists are taking over. And I'm like, okay, great. And I got an ad, a full-length ad for Paramount Plus. And it's the Marxists are taking over, or something is right in his title. And it was a full...
The Marxists are, anyone who says the Marxists are taking over wouldn't know Carl from Groucho. Mecha, I know you don't have, I know you don't think this, but are you more conservative? You are more conservative than liberal. Well, nobody's conservative. Nobody's 100% conservative.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's the thing. Like financially, very much so. But I'm like, I'm not. There's reasons why I didn't do a lot of videos on the Florida bill, because, well, first off, what about the kids who have parents who are like super duper, if you're gay, get out of my house sort of parents?
Yeah.
So, I mean, wouldn't it kind of protect the kids from that? But on the other hand, I mean, why are you talking to 5-year-olds about
Morrissey for the next captain of the Enterprise. Yeah.
So I can see both sides of the argument on that bill, so I haven't really been discussing it. But
Tyler Perry built a studio in Georgia. Do you know if he had Abrams on any of his stuff? I don't think so.
I don't know. He might have. Do you think he has?
Probably not.
Well, is Tyler Perry like politically activism-y?
I don't. I not to my knowledge. That doesn't mean he isn't. We don't want them in Georgia. I don't know.
It's all right. Yeah, modern day Star Trek deals with social issues like they make pop culture TV. It's all references with zero substance or meaning. People are racist. Climate change is a thing. Homelessness is a problem. Wealth inequality. There, did I activism enough to be a new Trek writer?
Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Uh-huh.
This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. It's bad. It's all bad. Okay. How do you talk? No, we don't talk. It's bad.
Oh, yeah. The Florida bill has nothing to do with that. But like, I think the argument for teachers wanting to be able to discuss these things without parents knowing is that they think that they need to give some of these kids a safe space. That's my understanding of the other side of it. If I'm wrong, then I'm not. Like, this is why I don't do political commentary, because I don't know shit about it. I know that I can see it. I can take myself outside of it, and I can see it as the fly on the wall, looking at both sides, yelling at each other, I think. Yes. Oh, yeah, I read through it. It's just I don't understand it. It's basically they don't want kids being taken away from their parents without their knowledge to talk to. Only not taken away, but taken aside in secret, talking about gender, talking about like what pronouns, talking about, marriage being between a man and a woman, marriage being between two men, two women, any of that. They just don't want talking about the gender identity stuff, marriage issues, sex issues with 5-year-olds.
Which ordinarily doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I can see why people were in support of it, thinking that, like, the people who actually read it, not the people who go around saying they don't say gay bill, because those people are just idiots, but the people who actually kind of read through it, from the ones who are kind of like, well, for the two reasonable people, not any of these idiots on Twitter, celebrities. Like, from what my understanding was that there's absolutely a time and a place when some kids might be really, really like, hey, I'm gay. My parent is super anti-gay. They hate everything about it. But like the genuine ones, not like the ones that they just get labeled as homophobic, but like a real actual like they say anti-gay stuff constantly. They hate everything about it. That's like I thought it was one of those things where they, like, the genuine people who it was genuinely designed to kind of help were the kids who couldn't say that to their parents and they needed a safe space. But why are you talking to 5-year-olds about this?
Well, the inherent problem is, though, that it can be easily weaponized against, let's just say, a gay teacher, even with this. Well, I don't want him to talk. Well, because we haven't. They don't talk about this in front of the kids. Well, how do we know we haven't? He hasn't done that, huh? How do we know? How do we know? And then it leads to a lot of suspicion and paranoia, and that's what. It's already being weaponized by certain parents groups in Florida.
Well, it's being weaponized by the LGBTQ movement too, because they're assuming that it's an anti-gay thing when it has nothing to do with it. It's basically don't talk to kids about either.
There's no easy answer to this.
So the LGBT community has kind of appropriated this as a oh, you just think all gay people are groomers, and it's like no. I thought the bill covered talking to people about straight marriage too. Am I wrong?
I don't think it is.
I think I'm wrong.
I would have to reread it.
Okay, yeah, because I posted it.
Eric Schultz. I think one of my cousins is gay. Well, I'm not going to say who, but there's someone in my family, it's hysterical. I mean,
have I met him?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have. And it's just
from next door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But he is. Let's just say that he's very mean. He's by nature is very mean spirited. Yeah, he's okay. But, it's okay. Whatever, man. But he's very mean spirited. Whenever he was manager of an Olive Garden in Yonkers. He fired somebody, and as they were walking out of the door, he yelled, "Hot garbage, bitches!" Which is my brother's softball team. I'm like,
yeah. See, it doesn't call out gays or homosexuality in legislation. You can't talk to anybody, like even about straight people. That was my understanding too. So I don't know why people are so upset.
It's kind of a vague, kind of a broad and very vague kind of parameters.
Right? Like, I'm one of those people, like, I watch fewer and fewer even romances because I'm like, I don't care. Like, okay, from my understanding, like, okay, Corner Gas is one of my all-time favorite shows, right? There's hardly any romance and hooking up in that. Like, there's maybe 3 episodes. You have one couple in the show who's married. Everybody else is, like, just doing jobs and existing, right? For the most part. There's, like, 1 or 2 episodes where people might date for about a minute. However, for the most part, there's no dating or hookups or shipping. Oh, that's a big problem for me, is everybody's sexualizing everything now. Like, as I have my cleavage hanging out on display. I get it. Don't think I don't get the irony of that. But when it's in absolutely everything, like, I could look like this and not say anything about it, and it won't be, like, an issue because I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about my identity. I'm not talking about this or that. If a kid will wander through this, God forbid, don't watch my channel if you're under 30. But if a kid were wandering through this and they heard Rob on the other end, they don't need to know anything about anything that happens off camera, right? They don't need to know, because who the hell cares? He's just a guy on the microphone. And that's how I kind of just see, like, that's how I want to see more television and movies. Less relationship heavy, less shipping heavy, because it kind of makes people a little tired of it and makes people a little hypersensitive to it. So when you do see this, and for me, I can say, I don't want you talking to kids under under 5, or what, 5 to K, what was it, K to 3rd grade or whatever, K to 5th grade even, and let's say under 10. You don't need to be talking about kids, even about marriage between a man and a woman. You don't need to be talking to kids about any of that stuff. Can you teach a kid how to spell pronoun before you ask them what they are? Just something like that. Like, then on the other hand, I don't have any problem that kids know that gay people exist in the context of age appropriate, like, oh, well, these 2 people are in a relationship and love each other. Okay. And sometimes it's 3 or whatever. You don't even have to get into that sometimes. You can just say, oh, well, they're just, okay, how, like, your parents are married? Well, they are too. Oh, okay. And doesn't go any deeper than that. And only if they ask, right? I mean, I don't have kids, so I couldn't even say, but I've been trying my best to kind of avoid that, talking about the bill, because I think it's just such a ridiculous tribal reading shit, and that's what they pull into Star Trek, and that's what they're pulling into this now, is this tribal reading. And nothing else is any deeper than, yeah, that's like 5 to 10-year-olds. Exactly. Miss Livery, I can't say your name. I can't say. Oh. Low spec Lincoln now top under 30. It's a good generalization because I reference a lot of weird stuff. Kids know gay people exist. They don't care unless people keep talking about it. Exactly, that too. It's no different than it's like no different than, you know, kids seeing their parents married. You know, they'll see their neighbors married or not or whatever. They see people holding hands out in the mall. Most of the time, kids aren't even going to notice. Like, if you have a teacher who looks like me, you know, with a bunch of bright hair, or they'll have, like, all their activism pins, kids aren't going to care. Kids will probably know at some point, oh, gay, rainbow, whatever. They'll know rainbows. They'll know this. I don't understand why everybody is so mad that people don't want kids being taught set aside. Then again, here's the other side of the aisle that I was kind of thinking that everybody who's so triggered by that too kind of seems to be underestimating their kids a little bit. I mean, I think as a society we have a little bit deeper of an issue here, other than, you know, oh, they're saying all this stuff around my kid. I mean, you're gonna have a kid go to school like when I was in school, and we were sitting there saying we don't need no education, we don't need no thought control. School's been blown to pieces. School's out forever. We didn't care what the cringe, stupid teachers had to say. Let's say you had a teacher who was super religious, for example, or super into knitting or something. You would just roll your eyes and be like, ugh. And that's what you see these teachers as when you're a kid. You see them as, oh, well, they're super into, like, the gay activism, whatever. You roll your eyes and you move on with it. You don't take them seriously because they seem less of an authority figure to you the more activisty they are, the more cringe they are. Especially you would have these teachers who are super preachy about stuff, teachers who are super, you know, like the ones who act morally superior. Those are the ones who never last very long, you know, because it seems like the teachers who do best are the ones who ask questions and the ones who get kids to kind of think for themselves. But like it's like they underestimate their kids for not, you know, being instilled this moral whatever. Let's say their parents are very conservative Christian sort of parents, and they have a kid who has one of these teachers and they don't homeschool him for whatever reason. The kid's gonna be like, yeah, well, my mom and dad says that marriage is this and we disagree with you respectfully or something. And they're not going to be indoctrinated. They're not going to be groomed as much. They're not going to be like, especially, and I get it, it's probably a lot worse when the kids are younger because they're a lot more impressionable. The part of their brain hasn't developed where they can reason and kind of predict consequences of their actions. You know, you can kind of be like, well, if I jump off a cliff, I'll break my leg. Well, kids don't know that. They just jump. And it's our jobs to kind of keep them from that. So I would assume that there's a lot of parents out there, especially after the last 2 years, especially getting all involved. Like I saw somebody tweet out, it was probably the quartering, somebody tweet out how Wisconsin's school board was completely like taken over. One of the school boards there was completely taken over by, you know, conservative moms who were getting out there and wanted to have a say in their kids' education. Okay, great. Like parents are gonna need to step up and instill good, strong moral values so that their kids are less influenced by this stuff. So that they're raised to question authority. They're raised to have a good amount of skepticism. They're raised to know that sometimes you're going to have people out there who don't have your best interests in heart. Sometimes you're going to have people out there who aren't the be-all end-all. They aren't the absolute authority in everything. Sometimes you're going to have people who make mistakes, who teach you something. And to know that they're well-loved and taken care of at home, and they have a good, strong faith value system. They have a good parental upbringing. Right? I think that, and this is the opinion that they don't want, you know, like every time you see those panel shows about the bill, like they're just going, yeah, they're grooming my kids. Okay, well, maybe step it up and make it so that your kids are not a stupid idiot and doesn't want to just listen to blindly what stupid teacher with clown hair and rainbow badges has to say, huh? Did you ever think of that? They're grooming my kids. Okay, don't let your kid get groomed then. Step it up a little bit, you know, make sure your kid has some self-esteem and a head on their shoulders to question that. Why can't we do that too? Why can't we attack this on all sides? Why can't we go and do that? Because I'm sorry. I watch a lot of people who were raised that way. And they're not going to let some teacher or anybody just blindly convince them by preaching and indoctrinating. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. What do you think? The fact that people are trying to have adult conversations with elementary kids is problematic. Exactly. And that's another thing. Like, if parents can step up a little bit from behind the scenes too, knowing this stuff is happening, say, hey, is anybody trying to talk to you about grown-up things? Because, you know, you teach kids, like, okay, these are your private zones. Don't let people do that. This is your this when you're really, really young. Don't let people talk to you about this. Don't let people take you in a van. Maybe parents can start putting warning signs about that. Maybe parents can say, hey, are people talking to you about a lot of inappropriate stuff? Are they saying a lot of stuff that makes you uncomfortable? Stuff like that. And then they'll get accused of grooming too, because then you have the same thing where parents are like, oh, are you a trans? Are you a boy or a girl? How do you know you're a boy? You know, that type of stuff too. I don't know. Parents should be removing their kids from public education systems. And that's another option. I mean, and this is what really triggers me about that bill too in Florida, is you have everybody, including me, having an opinion on this who don't live there, who don't have kids in that school system. Like, okay, so Raven Simone, who lives in Hollywood, doesn't have kids in Florida, just because she works at Disney, is like, hey, they're going to erase gay people. What? How? Hey, maybe we should erase ourselves from schools. How about that? Maybe we should erase, and I'm not gay, but like, maybe we should erase ourselves from talking about it around kids. Why don't you ask them what kind of Pokemon they like instead of what their pronouns are? Seriously, ask them what their Fortnite character looks like. Ask them who they main on Overwatch. Why are we talking about this? That's the other, like, why do I need to know about this? Why haven't Sarah Silverman been back? I don't know. Public schools public schools aren't gonna do. When did we ever listen to what our teachers said in school? That's the other big issue I have with this. When did we ever listen to what our teachers said? Rob, did you listen to your teachers, what your teachers said blindly? Not really. Come here, talk to me about this. Michael Zelly, the Florida public school system is a joke. I think all public school systems are jokes. When is the last time you listened to what your teacher said? Like, oh my God, they're so much better than my parents. I like them more.
I don't remember.
Did you ever think that? Did you ever be like, oh my God, I'm going to listen to everything my teacher says? Or did you just kind of go about like, oh my God, they're so stupid?
I mean, it depends on the teacher. Science teacher, yes. You know, because obviously the guy knows science.
Yeah, like the science teacher, sure. But you're going to have your teacher go and talk about their pronouns and their sex lives and their husbands and stuff?
That never came up.
Right?
That
like
never came up.
Why do they care so much now?
Well, because people want to use it as a wedge issue.
They want to divide
they want to use it as a wedge issue. They want to use it as a culture war issue.
When was the last time, though, that you actually listened to your teacher over your parents?
Never.
Right? It's like they just kind of forget that kids are a-holes and they're little trolls. Like, kids are basically internet trolls, only without cell phones. Seriously. They're going to get on there and they're going to say the thing that's going to trigger you. They're going to go Trump because it pisses you off.
Teachers were the enemy. I mean, they were the enemy. They were the ones
Right?
They were keeping you from having fun.
Right? The teachers are the enemy because they were keeping you from having fun. They were the ones to discipline you. They weren't people you listened to for life lessons. Oh my God. And everybody's so triggered by this. Well, why are you grooming our kids? Okay. I get that. If you actually have a kid there and you don't want that. Sure. But these people who don't have kids, who don't live in Florida, who like live in California or something, and they're like, oh, they're grooming our kids in schools. No, they're not. Your kids are not going to listen to that shit. And you know it. You're sitting there going, yay, culture war. We're winning. Look at what they're afraid. They're afraid. And we're exposing them because they're trying to groom our kids. Look at us raking $1,000 a night by riling up people in pep rally. Look, we're winning. Yay, we're winning. And you don't have one voice of reason going, yeah, but are your kids really going to listen to these asshole teachers? Are they so crazy? Like, we didn't listen to teachers when we were kids. Do you really think kids have changed all that much? Or has the technology changed? Has the delivery message changed? Because guess what? I used to play Yokai Watch on YouTube with a bunch of little kids, like 12-year-old kids, right? And what did they do? They would say Trump, Trump, Trump to piss people off. They don't listen to authority. They don't like teachers. And these people who get yay culture war, we're winning. Look, they're openly saying why Republicans have a problem with the grooming bill. Kids aren't listening to teachers. Are they really? How many of those people did you see? Because I've been retweeting these. The second the mask mandates lifted in schools, kids were like, yeah, fuck this mask. And they wrote, and they were like, yeah. And who's pushing for the masks? The activists, the teachers. Who's out there saying, oh, well, we have to, or else? It's the activists and the teachers. And the people that nobody listens to. We're so worried about people nobody listens to. Am I expectionally giddy? I don't know. I'm trying to be more entertaining too. That they know how to get to kids. Do they though? Do they? Or is it the parents for not giving these kids any reason to have any self-esteem or self-worth, self-value? Like anybody with one bit of self-value and self-worth knows that these teachers are not going to be taken seriously. And I get they want to go younger and younger and younger. I get that like the younger you get, the easier they are to control. But for crying out loud, like, we didn't take teachers seriously. Here's where I pissed off all the people on the right by kind of disagreeing. Most teachers have been qualified to teach the subject they're assigned to teach. Yeah. I myself have a few friends who are teachers. I'm on a rant roll. Oh no, I know people are probably gonna be like, what do you mean you're not? See, this is why I say I'm like really not that conservative, because I'm like, I don't think kids are listening to teachers. We didn't listen to teachers. Like, our generation wrote the songs that didn't listen to teachers. Our generation made the movies that blew up schools, and that we had Welcome Freshmen and Saved by the Bell, and we mocked teachers. So when do parents start blindly turning their kids over, saying, now you listen to everything they say because they're more important than me? No, never. I never took my teachers seriously. I already knew more they did by the 4th grade. There you go. They do is done on multiple fronts: education, pop culture, media, the internet. Why are we listening to the media? Why aren't we why are there not more people like me out there who say, yeah, but clearly you're not having any critical thinking? That's the other thing. Like, I'm not watching Picard and it's changing my mind or anything, right? My morals and values are the same liberal ideals from the 90s, right? Gay people should have the right to get married. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. You're going to have the right to get half of your shit taken away too. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. My ideology is not changing because Star Trek changed with or around me. I guess I had the fortune of unplugging from it and not being political. I wasn't slowly the frog boiling scenario that always gets used around all of the pop culture politics-y sort of channels. I'm jumping in to the boiling water right now, being somebody who really unplugged myself from that because I had a life. I had a real life. I had things to do, you know. By the age of 24 or 25, I was working and not paying attention to the modern pop culture and not caring about all that stuff. And I had bills to pay and still have bills to pay. So I don't take pop culture seriously. I am of the mindset, maybe because I'm a little older than a lot of the pop culture aficionados out there, I'm of the mindset that I can look at this stuff as this piece of propaganda that isn't going to influence me one bit. It isn't going to influence me into anything. And the people who are easily influenced by stuff, I mean, what value do they have? The 90s were the last great decade. It's really more like the parents blindly trusting government workers to teach their kids. Yeah. I mean, parents, aren't you telling your kid? Like, I would assume parents are telling their kids, okay, now don't just listen to whatever this government worker says blindly without questioning. Don't love him more than me. I would assume. I don't know. I could be completely wrong here. As a kid, all I wanted to do was play Pokemon instead of homework or reading or math, right? Right, Hazika Duckworthy. Yeah, you're a little younger. You don't mind me outing you as that. If you're there wanting to sit there and play Pokemon, you're not here there wanting to hear what the teacher's gender pronouns are. You're gonna roll your eyes like, oh my god. The same way we would roll our eyes when we'd see a teacher pray, or we'd see a teacher, whatever, or you'd see a teacher smoking. Ooh, that was a big one in the 80s. Was you'd see a teacher smoking, or you'd smell it on them, and you'd know, oh, they're trash people. Or if you look down on smoking or something. And that's kind of how I would assume kids would be today. We never talk, like, you'd have one or two idiot kids take a teacher seriously. It was the minority then. And it still looks like it's the minority. And it still looks like it's the minority. I think everybody just trusts the government by default, right? How wrong am I? Okay, tell me how wrong I am. That's just my understanding of it, though. It's like, I don't think kids are going to just blindly go along with whatever the teacher says, especially at that young age. They're going to not even understand the words. Heck, when I would hear some body parts, I thought they were talking about 5-cent coins when I was a kid. It's like, what do you mean nickels? Huh? I was a little kid. I didn't know. Rob, did you ever mishear grown-up terms when you were a kid? Oh, yeah. Yeah, what are examples? What'd you hear? Like, for me, I remember specifically, like, nipple, I thought I heard as nickel, because I didn't know what the word was. So you're going to have these kids who don't even know what half these words mean. They're going to be trying to talk to them about it. There's always grown-up discussions.
It's always grown-up discussions. You have no idea what they mean.
Yeah, you don't know what they mean. So they're going to, not only are they going to be talking to these kids about these grown-up discussions they don't even understand, but they're going to be like, oh my god, can I go play Pokemon now?
Are we done?
Are we done? Are we going to recess? Can we go to play Pokemon now? Can I take this mask off already?
Yeah, Dad, I gotta go. Yeah, Mom, Dad, I gotta go. I got baseball practice.
I would have gone to school. I would have probably been arrested. I would have fought the teacher if they made us wear masks when I was in school. Seriously, I would have been thrown into juvie. Ugh. I think you're hearing about this now because with COVID, parents started paying attention. That's what I've been saying too. Teachers were staying to their kids mostly due to distance learning. Yeah. Absolutely. I think we had a couple of generations of people who were really unplugged from this. You're right. I maybe I shouldn't be comparing my generation to the because like I pretty much raised myself. Gen X, we raised ourselves, right? Latchkey kids. We raised ourselves. We had some independence, and we had, like I could choose what I wanted to watch on TV. I could choose whatever I want because like I knew that I was probably going to be able to talk my mom into letting me do pretty much anything anyway, because I was an only child and super duper smart. So the generation after that, I remember they had like super nanny episodes where you'd have these people who had kids and they'd let their kids wander around the house like pets and they never even speak to them. So these kids could barely speak. They've never been outside. They weren't allowed outside because, oh, God forbid, you let a kid ride your bike down the street. I just saw a tweet. Actually, let me see if I can find that. I just retweeted that today about Gen X. We were the last generation to go and ride our bikes all the way down the street. And here we go. This meme. Your mom thought you were riding your bike around the block for 8 hours. But in that time, you went 5 miles away, explored an abandoned house, jumped over some garage roofs, attempted a Ouija board, built a den in the woods, and you made your own fire. Yeah, pretty much. And kids after that never got the opportunity because everybody was told, oh, it's dangerous, it's sad, these two in the middle look really a lot like a couple of my cousins, by the way. Holy crap, they look like a couple of my cousins. I'm like, is this one of my family photos? But no, you didn't have the same mentality. So, you had kids on Super Nanny who were 12 years old and their parents were still wiping their asses for them. And like they had no life skills because these parents were so ill-equipped to have kids. I don't know, maybe it's because we weren't really parented ourselves as Gen Xers, and then Gen Xers started having kids, and these kids turned out to be awful, and they couldn't do anything, and they didn't know anything, and they couldn't go outside, and they couldn't have friends over. They didn't know how to socialize. But then that would seem to be the opposite of what's going on in school now, because kids, I mean, maybe kids aren't raised to question authority anymore. Maybe they're not. Hello, Owen Thomas. Hi, Mecha. How's your sunburn? It's doing better. It's a little better. It's a little better. After all the 80s, mom became all the helicopter parents. Yeah, maybe that was different. I was getting cuts and bruises as a kid, not stuck inside on tablets or phones. We didn't have them back then. Yeah, we didn't have them when I was a kid either. I'd go outside with my boombox and a caboodle filled with cassettes or something. I'd go outside with like a box full of Garbage Pail Kids. They're taught to critically think, or much less anything at this point. Why aren't the parents doing that? Like, that's the big thing. Like, the parents could start teaching kids how to be critical thinkers at a really early age. But they don't. It's like, well, you're to blame on this too. You're just now triggered that the teachers are doing whatever you want after you've just had a kid and then dropped it off. And how many of these people in a survival situation, they would crumble and they would read for world change for them instead of adapting to changing conditions, right? Kids are too attached to their devices. It's really sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm attached to my phone. I'm sitting there. I go for a walk, and it's like Pokemon Go. Born in the late 90s. I'm a Sagittarius, Eric Schultz. See, I was born in the 70s. I'm old. Very late 70s, but very, very. Like, I have no memory of it. Like, my biggest memories are, like, 1987. I can kind of barely remember 85. Barely, when I was really little. 87, I kind of remember, though. Because, movies were coming out. Police Academy movies. Those were good. I agree, parents need to be more actively involved in their kids' lives. Yeah, and that's, I guess, all of my political ramblings. Oh my gosh, I've been live 2 hours almost. Holy crap. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to go live for like an hour. I guess I'll just leave this up as a stream. Oh, this is probably demonetized all the crap. That's okay. So that's my thoughts on TNG bringing back the old cast, and it went into a whole debate on everything under the sun. But sometimes, I think this is why I get so tired of being dragged into the cultural thing, because I wanted the escapism. I wanted a place to go away from it. I wanted a place, because you see it at work. You see it all over the place. You see on the news. You see all this. And that's great to be informed, and I'm trying to be more informed. I'm trying to be better and trying to be more informed. But at the same time, I'm still a smartass, and I know I'm a smartass, and I know I'm the same smartass I was in the 80s when I would have taken one look at these teachers and said, yeah, but what about the other side? Yeah, but, because I kind of do that with anything, right? I'm 81 here. Today's 20-something makes for the zombie apocalypse. McFadden should not be returning. Yeah. Oh, she's not? Giggs McFadden isn't? It's so insulting. They've all gone silver. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're probably in their 70s by now, right? Isn't she about 70? How old's Gates McFadden? How old is Gates McFadden? She's about 68, yeah. See, she looks so much better than Madonna, doesn't she? Because she hasn't had a whole lot of work done. She's 73? Yeah, she looks 10 years younger than Madonna. Because Madonna looks like a freaking Venus flytrap butthole. Her mouth looks like a butthole now. Madonna. Oh, don't Google Madonna. I did a video on it. Sleazy P. Martini did a good video on it. Go watch his too. He called her an alien. Spoiler. He did a good video on Madonna's. But yeah, Giggs McFadden didn't get a lot of work done, clearly. She just looks like how she would look as a woman who took care of herself and aged gracefully. Well, yeah, but she didn't have, like, Madonna work done. Oh, we got another topic, but while we're still here, we got one more topic that I didn't get. Do we want to talk about the Obi-Wan plot leaks? You want to talk about the Obi-Wan plot leaks? I don't know if I do. I should clip it. We'll clip it. Obi-Wan plot leak. I can't snap when I have a guitar pick in my hand. I am Mecha. We'll leave the stream up for the Star Trek rant, but we're going to clip this one separately. Bookmark the channel. We're going to be riffing this Obi-Wan show. We got plot leaks. Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Rob Robot Shlomo, and I'm here because I did some Star Wars stuff, I guess, at some point.
We liked Star Wars. We loved Star Wars.
Liked, past tense.
Yeah, Ed. Past tense. Alleged leaked set video shows Darth Vader and Obi-Wan dueling on Tatooine.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Does he slap his face with the back of a glove? I challenge you to a duel, sir. How about that? How about that kind of duel? That might be more fun. I'd watch that. An alleged leaked photo or set video shows Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader in a lightsaber duel on what appears to be Tatooine. Is this real? Who has it?
No.
Who has it? Oh no. It's this guy. So credit to Jedi Maz, 41 subscribers.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
You think it's real, or do you think it's...
I don't think so.
Well, you can't see with your dumb watermark over it, dude.
Yeah, well...
Seeing Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight should not be a surprise to anyone who's been following the series. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy said that they were going to have a rematch.
They're going to have a rematch.
It's like, you can't even see if that's Obi-Wan.
That's just a guy in a robe. I mean,
a guy in a Vader costume.
How do we know they're not out in the desert, near Calabasas?
Okay. Let's look at his video for analysis, or let's look at what he says. Because it might be stunt performers on the set of Obi-Wan and Vader.
It's
okay.
Yeah, but okay, hold on. All right, keep going. Just a little bit forward.
Can you even see?
I can't make out anything.
Yeah, you can only see the back of him.
And a guy in a Vader costume, which can be rented for $100.
Yeah, and from the back, I mean, this could be any desert sand dune anywhere.
It doesn't even. It could be a backdrop. It could be a beach somewhere facing away from the ocean.
Yeah. Do they have another source of this? Do they have like an original?
I don't think they do. It doesn't look like it.
Star Wars would also release a short teaser for the show with Chow saying, "We couldn't tell the story of Obi-Wan without addressing Anakin or Vader." Well, we know Vader's coming back because Kathleen Kennedy said it. Is this supposed to be?
What's he's two-stepping there? What's going on?
Yes, they're gonna do the hokey tokey. Ewan McGregor, who reprises Obi-Wan, would add, "Have another swing at each other might be quite satisfying for everybody." No! Then he would sense Luke on Tatooine. Everything would, the whole plot would be completely destroyed. He would know that his kids are there, and he would go kill them long before they have a chance to blow up the Death Star.
Well, it's to Kathleen Kennedy, it's not about the plot. It's about the reference.
It's about the feelings. It's about remembering.
This is what I call Glee story writing, because I remember someone asking me, "Oh, how can you hate Glee? It's bringing people to music." I said it's not about the music; it's about the reference. This is a reference to the other lightsaber duels they had. So,
and then they're gonna probably play Duel of the Fates under it if they have it.
Yeah.
Remember Duel of the Fates? Trey Parker, Matt Stone did I put the memberberry on the thing for Star Trek, but it works even more for Star Wars because that's what they actually did the memberberry episode for. Was, hey, keep being distracted with Star Wars, keep buying it because they're gonna keep making it because it's crack.
It's addictive. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it brings you back to another time, but at the same time, it's a sham. It's a lie.
Yeah, it's not even like anything deeper than the reference to it.
You're not creating a new memory. You're just, like I said, you're just trying to relive the old memories. Listen, we're all guilty of it.
There's nothing wrong with that if they do it well. However, we're kind of to the point now where it's only being more and more divisive. We have this quote unquote culture war springing up around all of this, and so much so that I always had the theory that it was all for marketing. Like they were trying to create this perfect demographic of somebody who could go in and go in and okay, well, you vote this way, you buy this thing, you identify as this, you are of this age, you are of this demographic, you are of this cultural thing, you live in this location, you live in the city, in the urban setting, you live, that, like, so specifically that it's to become a complete cultural divide. And a lot of people are like, oh, see, that's on purpose. That's on purpose. I'm like, I don't know so much, because of the marketing and the way companies take advantage of people. It has to be making money for them. And it clearly did, because we just talked about this recently with Ghostbusters, how it's clearly making money for them with making, like, Ghostbusters 2016, I think grossed more than Ghostbusters 2, didn't it? And Afterlife, right? Or it made more money than Afterlife.
Technically, it made more money than
Afterlife.
Opening box office.
However, Afterlife also cost a crap ton less.
Well, the other thing too is, like I said, if for anybody who follows,
come on,
focus, who you do.
It doesn't want to focus on me. Sometimes you gotta get the camera. There you go. Camera to reset.
For anybody who follows sports ball, in baseball especially, baseball is a very statistics-driven sport. You have what's called sabermetrics. Now, what that means is you analyze certain stats and you put together a team like that, and you're supposed to win that way. I have no doubt that they ran the numbers as, okay, this demographic, there's a lot of people in this demographic, they buy these products, they live here, they do this, they do that, they use these websites, blah, blah, yada, yada. We need to target to that demographic. And that's all this is.
Yep.
This is, they're clearly...
I've been calling it the McDonaldization of properties for years.
Well, yeah. The other thing, that's the other thing they're doing is they're
mass
churning
commodity.
Out,
it's a commodity.
They're churning out film as product. They're substituting quality for quantity. Oh, look!
Well, look at the release date for Star Trek 4 before it's out.
Oh, look! You get 10 burgers off the dollar menu. Isn't that a better deal than the sub for $6.99 you can get at Subway? Yeah, but the sub is chicken salad, and that's not nearly as bad for you.
But 10 Star Wars movies, one after another. You get your fix every year.
That's what they remember. That's what this. Oh, there's going to be a Star Wars movie every 2 years, and a quote unquote story movie in the off year. That was the original plan.
Yeah.
We see how well that worked.
Yeah, they stopped that because Solo lost money.
There's our stunning and brave female lead, who's
Shauna Lynch. Kenobi eventually wakes up at the 5th episode of the show, where he parts ways with Resistance movement on Jablim. Oh, did we skip some of this? Here we go. Well, while it appeared clear that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader would cross blades at least once, rumor from LRM Online in February claimed that the two wouldn't have just one battle, but that there would be at least 2 battles. The website claimed, I've heard from our sources that Kenobi and Vader will face off not once, but twice in the upcoming series. The site goes on to state, the once friends, now enemies will have 2 epic battles against each other that will be told will rank at the top of the Star Wars battles. Yes, because they're going to drop in Duel of the Fates again, because that worked.
What is it? What is it? It's the best of 5? What's that?
Yes. This rumor about multiple fights would seemingly be confirmed by so that just makes the last one so much more pathetic, where they just kind of stand around, wave lightsabers at each other like old men.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're so old we can't do this anymore.
You're gonna cheapen Star Wars, like A New Hope.
Even more, you should say.
Even more. The rumor about multiple fights would be seemingly confirmed by Making Star Wars in a recent post that proves details about the first fight. Oh, Making Star Wars. Here we go. What's from these a-holes? What do they do? Am I blocked? Do they have footage?
I don't know.
No, they don't have footage. Okay. Do you have footage? No, it's just guys.
Okay. Yada yada.
They're
yada,
not a-holes.
No, okay.
They might be. I don't know.
Well, okay. So this is a whole lot of nothing here. I mean, it's just telling us what we've already known.
Oh, they got Qui-Gon probably. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Making Star Wars explains at the end of the first encounter, Vader has severely injured Kenobi and even lights his arm on fire and burns it badly. Really, despite these serious injuries, Kenobi escapes with the help of the Resistance fighter as taken to a Bacta tank where he's, oh god, more PTSD flashbacks in a Bacta tank. No. No more PTSDs in the back to tank. How about that?
No more. That's it. No more. No more.
Just like
this is getting ridiculous.
Kenobi eventually wakes up by the 5th episode of the show, so he's not even in the thing. He's just in the tank for what, 4 episodes?
Yeah. What's that line from that movie? This is getting gosh darn ridiculous.
We parts ways with the resistance movement on Jabim, and decides...
You couldn't come up with a better name. Jabim.
And decides
That's
to put
still
a
stupid.
stop to Inquisitor Reva. However, Vader still stands in the way, leading to a second confrontation with the Sith Lord. The second confrontation reportedly happens on Mustafar. While on Mustafar, Kenobi is aided by former Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Concept art shown off the Disney Plus teaser trailer for the show did appear to be Kenobi and Vader fighting on Mustafar. Mickey Starzers explains this is just Qui-Gon's voice acting as Mickey from the Rocky films. Obi-Wan has his mojo back and he can now hear Qui-Gon. And the voice guides Kenobi is for the first... well, that's just a reference to the first one.
It's over, Rock! It's over!
So he's gonna go, use the Force, Ben! Lose the Force... I don't know. Now this voice guy... I can't do a Liam Neeson. Was he Irish?
Yeah.
This voice guides Kenobi, and for the first time in a long time, he knows he must win because they're going to fight against evil. Oh no. However, Qui-Gon Jinn does eventually manifest as a Force ghost after Kenobi returns to Tatooine with the assumption that he defeated Vader again on Mustafar. After returning to Tatooine, he reportedly takes up the training he was instructed to do by Yoda at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
I quit.
And the Obi-Wan series is debuting in May 27th.
There's your Star Wars version of Hong Kong or whatever.
I don't mind that. That was in the prequels. I don't mind that.
Well, everything's neon.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
It is kind
The
of
description is yeah, I don't mind it so much. The story begins 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And what do you make of the alleged leaked footage? I am disappointed. I think this is going to be dumb. I think this is going to be a whole lot of... I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe they'll do it well.
All right, well...
Oh, I got a big monster. Oh, he's so cute. I like him. I like
Space camel.
Space camels. No, Obi shouldn't fight Vader again.
No,
I think it's just redundant at this time. We've seen it. We don't need it. Like, if you didn't get all the action you wanted in episode 3, then I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't see a lot of people even on Twitter cheering for this. Who's cheering for this? Like every tweet I see, I don't know if I'm just blocked by everybody who likes it.
This is gonna be another thing where he's not the main character. He's not the main character, and somebody's gonna have, oh my goodness, the strong female woman of color is gonna be the lead.
Which wouldn't even be a problem if it wasn't in absolutely everything and noticeable at this point. It's like, can you guys not do the exact same thing that everybody else did? Because then you're gonna make everybody seem to be racist.
Yeah.
Because like you can't even point that out. You can't even point out that it's the same carbon copy thing without people thinking that that's the issue, is the issue with the woman's skin color. It's like, no. My issue is that every single show has, like, there's just a wall full of them that, like, just characters of, oh, well, here's our strong female character, and she has to be a woman of color with this undercut, with the short hair and half of her head shaved. And it's the same character over and over again in everything. And I'm like, can't you people, like, create something original? Because even their original characters aren't original. They're copy and pasting characters. These are the people who copy and pasted their way through college and through elementary school even. They got C's get degrees to get in with Kathleen Kennedy and her story group. And now they got to copy and paste the strong female character. They got to copy and paste past battles. They got to copy and paste everything. J.J. Abrams is one of the kings of that. He's the copy and paste director.
Yep.
So, of course, everything is just copy and paste. Like, nobody has new characters. Nobody can create anything new. And when they do, it turns out to be Star Trek crapping Picard. And they fail so miserably at it, they gotta rely on the TNG cast, dropping them in the middle of season 2 as an appearance at the very tail end of season 3 for what, a cameo? Because they can't do anything original even on Picard that anybody's interested in. And yeah, copy and paste society. We're like, it's a little disappointing. So
Yeah.
I think that's all I got on that one. I'm going back to my live chat. Don't you guys go anywhere. They did Star Wars the musical with Bill Murray's lounge singer guy while he's still alive. Oh, that'd be cool. I'd pay for a movie of the Bill Murray lounge singer stuff. Huh? I don't know. You have a bottle of water? Oh, he does. All right, so that's my rant on the Star Trek stuff, and then people are gonna yell at me for the typo in the title, but that's okay. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's been fun. I'll do more of these. We're gonna do a stream tonight for What the Dub. We're gonna have some new clips, hopefully. I don't have any other topics right now that I was going to talk about. Should I just leave this live so people can watch it back? I think I'll just leave it live. That's probably demonetized. So if it gets demonetized, I'll unlist it for a minute and then I'll come back. Which it probably is, because it's probably going to like, stream health. What does it say? Stream is healthy. Merchandise. I don't have my merchandise on display. Well, there you go. Drop the taco shirt. There you go. Premiering pin merchandise. There you go. Drop the taco. Get in the taco. Okay. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I need to rest my voice and maybe go for a pokey walk, and as long as it's not like 500 miles an hour wind. It's probably too windy. That's what the elliptical's for. And I gotta pack, and I gotta do all kinds of stuff. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Stranger dangers and YouTube. All right, we'll see you guys later. Come back tonight. Bye.